welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Daddy, Daughter, Disney Travel Podcast. We're your hosts.
I am Mike Belobradic.
And I'm Amelia Belobradic. And today we're going to be telling you all of our tips for trip planning in the COVID situation.
Yes, the challenges of planning a Walt Disney World vacation during COVID. And you know, we have planned, 3 or 4 during COVID, and the other ones have been canceled pretty far out, but this one looks like it's going to happen right in the middle of all this craziness. So we're obviously not planning a normal Disney vacation. So I will tell you, we are going to be careful. We're not going maskless. We do not want to catch COVID. So we're going to do our very best not to do it. And that's sort of what this episode is about. How can you have a Walt Disney World vacation that's altered during this time?
If you're having one at all.
If you're having one at all. And I'm going to start, I wasn't sure whether to say this at the beginning or the end, but I think I'll say it at the beginning. If you are wondering, is now a good time for your first ever Walt Disney World vacation?
I would say no.
I would say no as well, because it's just not a normal time right now.
Yeah, and you're probably going to get off put.
Even if you said, I don't care about COVID at all, just with no FastPasses and all the other things that are going on around it.
And you have to wear masks inside now.
Yeah.
At least at the moment.
It's just not a great time for a very first experience. It will not be indicative of a first time there. Certainly not as it will be, hopefully, who knows when things get back to normal. So what we're talking about today is, given all the craziness that's going on, and if you're at all interested in Disney vacation planning, I'm sure you know what's going on. This is what we've been up against in our planning and what we decided to do, and we'll tell you the reasons why. So if you're wondering, you can sort of, hear what other people are doing. We'll share our experiences, and you make your own for your own comfort levels.
Yeah. So this is how a trip that's going to happen mostly in the heat of COVID, as bad as is probably.
This trip is mid-August.
Yeah. If your trip is going to happen in COVID, Amelia touches wood, hoping your trip will happen, it's important to know that things are going to be different, but you almost want to make your trip different to accommodate them as well, and so you might have a different experience.
Yeah, ours will definitely be, and we're trying to make it, sort of fun. We'll get into it. First things first, where to stay. So you could just not think about this, but we did have considerations of where to stay in, again, what is the best place to stay where we can have some level of safety? And there are a few ways you can go about it.
We're being so safe.
We're being so safe, and we're also lucky to be able to do this.
Yes.
So we are staying
in a Polynesian bungalow for 6 out of 7 of our trip nights.
Yeah, so first night, Amelia wanted to stay at the Grand Floridian because it is our favorite resort. If you listen to us, you know that. So we have a 2-bedroom villa there for the 3 of us. And then we are moving to a bungalow at the Polynesian. And if you have a bunch of Disney Vacation Club points packed up, or if you want to spend money because you want to be safe, this is the
trip to spend.
Yeah, there's really nothing, in my opinion, safer than being in basically your own Disney house.
Well, yeah, because you're not linked to anyone else. You have to have a gate to get in. The only people you could be catching COVID from are those alligators, which I'm sure are just riddled with disease.
Yeah, and there's no, you're no elevators, you're not constantly in the lobby and all that sort of stuff. So we feel it's, for us, the safest place to be. Nothing's 100% safe, but we're hedging our bets. The other thing I was also considering, so where to stay, is if we were going to be in a hotel, I was going to do something I rarely ever do, except at Saratoga.
Level.
Yes. What did you say? Say it again.
Ground level.
I was going to request a ground level room because that way you can walk out.
So unelegant.
Walk out your patio doors, once again, avoiding indoor traffic if it's busy.
And you should know, when trip planning for COVID, there's always going to be that one person that's like not super cool with all the changes and kind of complaining a lot. That would be me.
You're complaining about staying in a Bora Bora bungalow?
No, I would be complaining, however, if you made me stay on a ground floor at the Grand Floridian.
Well, did you not like the ground floor? The only place we do like ground floors is Saratoga. There's no elevators, or is there? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
There may be. No, there are there. There's none at Old Key West.
Oh,
That's
we
what
just
it
never
is.
take them.
We just
then.
never use it. But
Well-
I do like the ground floors at Saratoga for some reason because we sort of walk out to the pool when we stay in College Park.
The Grand Floridian is like the peak of elegance at Disney, and you just want to waltz in from the ground.
Yes, I would. So, you make your own considerations, of course, but for us, where to stay. And also, I mean, we always stay close to the parks.
Yeah.
So another consideration for where to stay has to do with transportation.
Oh, yeah.
So from all
Well.
my detailed COVID reading, and any of you listening who've been there, you can maybe validate, from everything I've heard, Disney buses are a nightmare just in terms of being packed in, not wearing masks, or really inconsistent. So we really want to avoid almost all transportation, but Disney buses in particular. So at least with the new pathway in the Magic Kingdom Resort area, we can walk from the Polynesian to the Grand Floridian to the Magic Kingdom and right over to the Contemporary.
And by can, you mean we will.
Yes, we will. So we're going to get some excellent exercise on this Disney vacation. That's
Ruining
for sure.
the Grand Floridian. That walkway.
So you may want to consider, places like Yacht Club, Beach Club, Boardwalk, where there's 2 parks where you can walk to both.
It also depends which parks you're trying to get to. If you want to do least crowded parks, I hear Epcot's least crowded, so maybe you want to stay over there to try and get closer access to the park you might be going to most.
Yeah, food and wine is
depends.
on right now. And again, from all accounts, it sounds like Epcot, well, it is a big and fairly open park compared to the other 3, and it does have, currently at least, the least number of high attraction rides, high attraction in terms of attracting crowds. So it makes sense that because it's big and open and there aren't as many sort of e-ticket rides there, that it's a little bit less crowded. We're hoping that's the case because we would like to take advantage of some food and wine booths, which I've heard also aren't bad in terms of lines. So that's a good thing, but we're going to play it as we go. We actually had Boo Bash tickets and we canceled them, and we did get a refund. So Disney was kind enough, even though there is a no refund policy, they are being a little bit more lenient now because we just don't want to put ourselves in that kind of exposure. In fact, that goes for parks altogether. Amelia's rolling her eyes at me, but you know what? We want to stay safe.
It's also because we have to be extra safe because we do have to get a test to get back into our country.
Coming from Canada,
as
coming
well.
from another country, we do
It's
have
not
to.
the same as just hopping on a flight
Yeah.
3 hours to your left in
3
New
days
Mexico.
before the flight home, we do have to have a negative test done. And if we don't, then we're staying in Orlando for 2 more weeks. And that may sound great for you, but not being able to board your flight home won't be fun. So certainly in the first half, we have to be super extra double, especially careful. So we did cancel that. And really on this trip, as well as finding a good place to stay, we are drastically reducing park time.
Yeah.
That's another key element.
But it's going to be because there's so much outside of the parks that even because we used to have annual passes, that we had tickets for it that we just never used.
Yeah. I go, what is the and more in water parks
Yeah.
and more and stuff like that? So, with respect to parks, I have to personally believe that
Yeah.
a lot of these cases that are happening there must be park related in terms of standing in hour-long ride lines or standing for an hour to watch Happily Ever After. So we are not doing any of that.
Yeah.
We are just not going to do it. And yeah, you can have a fun vacation without doing that. But of course, not if it's your first one.
Yeah.
So if it's your first one, you don't want to do it. That's why I would recommend holding off. But if you make your own choices, of course. But that's just something to think about.
Or not necessarily if it's your first one, but if this is going to be like your one trip and then you're not going again for 10 or 15 or never years, I wouldn't make this your one trip. If you're going to go again next year and the year after, then maybe. But I'm just saying if this is like the trip you've been waiting for, it's probably not going to be everything you're thinking it is.
Yeah, you may want to rethink it.
Unless you have very low expectations like me, in which case you might be surprised.
And the other thing that we talked about last week is we were lucky enough, using the tips from last week's show, to get a VIP tour.
Yes.
And it's on our last day, which is sort of nice, which is after our test. So that's good. So that will be our day we get to do all the rides. So we're pretty cool with that on this trip. Yeah, we'll go up the FastPass line, but not hoping not to stand around for too long, especially with no FastPass or anybody else using those queues except for switching off or the odd FastPass that was gifted, maybe.
But there's also a bunch of different ways to do things. For example, if you don't want to stand in a crowded line on Main Street to watch Happily Ever After, You could always go watch it in Tomorrowland. It's slightly different, but you can still see it, or from the beach at the Grand Floridian or something. You could always watch it a different way than you're used to. Maybe try something new because it's probably going away.
And the school kids in Orange County do go back, I think, on Tuesday, August 10th.
Yes, I believe so.
Definitely that week. So we're interested to see if crowds will be slightly lower. So we're going to sort of play it by ear and checking the crowds. We do have park hopper tickets for every day. So we do have parks booked for every day, but we may or may not use them is the thing. So we're going to sort of check it out, play it by ear while we're there. But our expectations are already tempered. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Expectations. That's sweet.
Well, we're going to see what goes on when we're there.
I don't care. I just want to be there.
Yeah, so
I really don't care what we're going to do.
There's lots of cool stuff to do. Mini golf, winter summerland, and all that sort of stuff. You know, we're going to look at crowds there, and if it's down, or even the water parks first thing in the morning. From what I've heard, they're not as busy. Well, the Blizzard Beach, I believe, is open.
The water park.
The water park open right now, not as busy. So we're going to look into stuff like that. Anything that really avoids standing in crowds. And if we do go in the parks just to be in the park atmosphere, if it looks like it's not crowded and we can dodge crowds keeping moving on Main Street, we're going to do that. Take some pictures. Maybe if there's no line for people mover or something, we'll go on it, or Carousel of Progress, but definitely not planning to wait in any lines. It's just not worth the risk for us.
And again, this isn't our one trip. If the COVID
yes, we do go
allows,
a lot. So if you don't consider all these things.
Like we're planning to go again next year or the year after, and then maybe when the situation is better, then maybe we'll go on more rides. It's not like this is our one chance to get on all of these rides and we'll never, ever go again.
And the more I think about it, even with heat, I'm probably going to N95 mask in the parks just to be safe. I mean, I really don't want to be in a position where I'm stuck there, so I'm going to do whatever I can to not come in contact with that illness while I'm there. So avoiding parks, especially the ride lines and happily ever after crowds and things like that, I think is probably a good thing.
But we do realize we're being ridiculously safe as well.
Well, you know what? Everyone will decide for themselves. For me, I don't think it's being ridiculously safe. I think it's just being safe. But I know we have a lot of listeners. There's a lot of people who will say, yeah, I don't care. And I know people have gone and didn't mask and they're vaxxed and they came home okay. But it's then you hear of people who are double vaxxed who got sick and they claim they wore masks all the time and all stuff. So you just don't know, right? You just don't know. There's so many stories, so many different things going on. It's a crazy Delta variant and all this stuff that we're just going to be safe. And that
Super safe.
That goes with the next topic, dining.
Yes.
So for the first time, we've just decided, well, first of all, here's what you need to know. If you haven't started yet,
dining is so hard to get right now.
Getting advanced dining reservations is almost impossible.
You might break your computer key refreshing it so many times.
And as we talked about last week, do keep trying, because I did ultimately find get OGA options. I didn't take them because we decided OGA's especially is just too crowded.
And they were also like at 9:30 at night.
But stuff does pop up. But then I said, you know what? This is a sign. We shouldn't be dining indoors. I don't care how spread out or not it is. We only kept one reservation at the boathouse, and we're going to get a patio seat, so we'll eat outdoors. And then that's it. We've decided we do have a bungalow, so we can, cook our own. Who cares?
Yeah, or we might pop in at Enchanted Rose on the patio somewhere there.
We'll see where we can get sort of walk-in patios, or just have lots of fun with quick service and take it out. So we're not sitting there.
Service.
I like quick service too. I mean, it's come a long way. So
I like steak once or twice, but it's not an everyday meal.
So there's two considerations that you should be aware of if you're trip planning. One, no, it's not just you when you go to get dining and there is literally nothing showing up,
and
or maybe two or three things.
It's so hard to get, especially.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And so grab things if you're even, because you can always cancel them later if you're not sure, because they'll be gone quickly if it stays as it is right now. Or consider whether you really want to do it. And I've seen questions, well, which restaurants are not as crowded? But you know what? Restaurants are restaurants. They're not distancing in them anymore. It's pretty full. Someone was asking me about Ohana. Well, when we're at Ohana, the person behind you's chair is banging up against your chair. That's how tight Ohana is, or most of them. So don't count on distancing in restaurants if you care about it. But if you want to get reservations, keep trying, because things will pop up. Or may, not will, but they might.
I wonder,
it's worth trying.
Can you make a reservation for more people and then just have a bunch of empty space at the table?
Well, actually trying for more can be harder depending on the table configuration at the restaurant.
Yeah, but then you get more seats and then you can just...
No, I don't know if they'd like that. Well, I wouldn't start playing games during this time, but you never know. I don't know. But just consider that dining is hard to get, and then...
Harder than usual.
Way harder than usual. And then, well, first of all, the restaurants aren't open. They're still, there's still some coming online.
But more and more are opening every...
Yeah, there are more and more coming online. But still, it's just a challenge, so you are not alone if you're having difficulties. That's what we want you to know. And then we've decided, forget it. We're just not going to bother with indoor dining table service in this on this vacation. But we are going to do outside the park activities, and whether that's just walking around the resorts or gauging. We are going to go to Epcot. We do want to go to Food and Wine. So we're also doing things like buses. Like I said, I don't want to be on a bus.
You don't like buses anyways.
I don't like them anyway, but
this isn't a COVID thing. This is just your excuse not to ride the bus.
It's true, but every story I've heard, the buses are just tend to be at least the risk of having the worst, people not wearing masks or all just sorts of problems or crowded. Whereas, for example, staying at the Polynesian, we have the luxury of walking to the Epcot monorail station.
Yes, and the luxury of the monorail not being open and getting to use that walking path.
The monorails, you mean the Epcot monorail to the Magic Kingdom, yes. But I'm talking about, the monorail to the Magic Kingdom station at the Polynesian is currently still under refurb, but we can walk to the Epcot monorail at the TTC, Transportation Ticket Center. The thing I like about this is, so since we're not going to hit rides, we're not going to do rope drop like we normally do. So we're going to go a little bit later, and hopefully it's not as crowded there either at the monorail station. But at least there you can see as the train pulls up who's where, and if it's not busy, you can get a car by yourself.
Or you can wait. We're not
or wait, and then it doesn't stop, right? So when you get on there, next stop, Epcot. So I do like that a lot. There's nobody getting on who maybe doesn't wear a mask and is coughing in your face or any of that stuff. So I do feel comfortable with that. So I like that idea. We're going to definitely check that out and see if that'll work for us. Otherwise, we're going to Uber and Lyft or whatever the case may be and really try to avoid buses. Unless we know the bus is one stop or something, but most of them are not, so we'll see.
But we have found some pretty cool outside of park activities that we did not know existed on this specific trip.
Yes, we did.
Such as foot golf.
Now, I didn't even know it was a thing.
I'm sure half of you have never heard of this in your entire life.
Didn't even know it was a thing. So we're going to talk about our experience when we do our trip report, but this is what we found when I said, all right, let me for once. We've had this on our annual passes for years. We let the passes expire 18 months ago. We'll buy them new, whatever they cost when they come back. We'll miss the renewal fee and all that stuff. But anyway, I go foot golf. So at Oak Trail...
I'm just happy they didn't call it soccer golf.
They have a foot golf course, and it's pretty cool. It's a 9-hole course where you basically play golf with a soccer ball. So you tee off, you kick.
Holes are ginormous.
The holes are 21-inch holes. They're like par 9 courses on Oak Trail. So really nice Disney courses. And you play soccer golf. It's par 3, 109 yards, or par 4, 130 yards, and there's dog legs and all that stuff.
So I'll see you after about 30 shots.
Yeah, so we went to the park today to make sure everyone could kick a soccer ball pretty far. So we're going to do stuff like that. So foot golf, or, we've done horseback riding in the past, or going to the miniature golf courses, because I don't think Amelia's ever been to Winter Summerland or there's another one as well. Well, there's 2 at Winter Summerland.
We must cure the injustices in this world.
So we're going to, when we're there, check out crowds and sort of base our decisions on that. So it's sort of fun. It's an outside the parks Disney vacation.
I don't like this. This is not, I'm not a play it by ear
type person. It's a different
person.
kind of Disney vacation, and we're looking forward to it, aren't we?
Yes. See, my ideal schedule thing is I just try to have at least one thing every day. So one day we'll do foot golf. One day we'll have a dining reservation. One day we have a VIP tour. Just one thing to do every day. Just one.
Well, we will. It'll end up that way.
I just don't want to spend an entire day in the bungalow,
No, we're never going to do that. There's always
Oh.
stuff to do. Even at the resorts, there's lots of outdoor games. We love to play foosball and all that stuff that's around the pool decks, and they're not
Yeah.
usually crowded. They're distance, especially when you're just playing yourselves. I mean, only two of you, or you could play two other people on foosball, for example, but we just play by ourselves when we do that. So there's lots of stuff to do. We will be out and about. I do like the fact that out and about at deluxe resorts especially, you can pretty much wander around and shop and go even inside, outside, get a Dole Whip, and be away from the type of intense crowd you're going to find in the park. And that's
Yeah.
really the key. That's what we're going to do best. And we will be masked just to be extra safe because we have that test in the middle of our trip. We will feel a lot better after that test is done. Either way, I guess.
Sometimes I just want to wander around the parks and not even just wait in lines. Just
Well, if we
wander
do,
around and eat food.
that's another thing. So let's say we do we look in a park, it's not that busy, let's go. We're still not going to go on rides. We're going to just wander the parks. There's other things to do. Well, there's wilderness explorers, for example, at Animal Kingdom, or
Oh,
just
so now you want to do
take lots
wilderness
of new
explorers.
photos. There's some of the 50th stuff up. The Halloween decorations
As long
are
as
up already.
I'm in those photos. I'm good.
Yeah, we do have a memory maker as always, so we better use a few of those. So it is a totally different kind of Disney vacation. So it's sort of going to be fun
I
and
don't
interesting.
care as long as I go, to be honest.
And I always say, this is like my sisters, some of which who listen to this show. I said, oh, we're having their type, because there was years on end at one point, I believe, where they did not even enter a park. This was their normal
I can't imagine
Disney vacation.
how you could possibly do that. I can't.
Yeah, well, they just do other stuff, right? So this is our other stuff Disney vacation.
Is it?
We do have the luxury of that VIP tour tacked on the
Yes.
end, which was the saving grace that I kept trying and got it on the last day. So
I'm secretly very controlling. You'll see.
that is our game changer for this. It's making everything a lot more palatable to do other stuff throughout the week.
Yeah.
So those are really some of the challenges that we came up against when we're planning, just even park passes. We did that early, so we're not going to, we may try to change them when we're there. If we want to go to a different park one day, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get a park, and we'll let you know how it's all going.
But for me, even though I like to plan everything, I like to have options. I like to have the option that if I wanted to, I could go to a park right now. Not necessarily going there. I want to be able to.
Well, we do have, we have parks booked every day.
I couldn't stand to go to Disney and be like, yeah, no, you can't go to a park, right?
So once the kids go back in school, we'll see if the crowd levels drop at all.
Yeah.
They expect that they would a little bit, but you never know.
But
Nothing is really predictable right now.
I know,
So
I hate it.
that is a real challenge for all of us longtime travelers. It's pretty crazy. Like, you just can't predict anything, and the ground changes every day, right? No masks are back. So it's lots of changing all the time, and you just got to roll with it and be nice to cast members.
Yeah, that's the number one
I'm going to
tip.
go out of my way because I'm reading some really crabby people, things they're doing, and that's just not fair. So we're going to go out of our way to thank them along the way for what they do, because
they do so much.
It's a tough job to have right now.
Customer service in COVID, I can't.
Especially there, or really anywhere. I mean, it's not just Disney parks. We've all heard the stories all over the place.
And I could never be a cast member because I'm such a control freak. Like, I'd be yelling at people all day long. I can never do that.
No, I couldn't either. So hats off to them. So we'll make sure we send a little magical love their way from the show and all of you listening. And that's about it. So we are going to do these things. Now you know our plan before we go, and we will report back on how it all actually turned out.
Touch wood.
Touch wood, yes. Touch wood that we can record that episode. So if we're missing a week, you're going to know what happened. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. Let us know how your planning is going as well as we tweet out this week and are on social media, on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. We are at 1923 Main Street, and we can swap tales and advice, and we'll pass along anything we've learned along the way on site to let you know any tips and advice, things we did wrong that maybe we would recommend other people do to help make your COVID Disney travel the very best that it can be.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. We hope to see you again next week, and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.